There is a gas we idolize. We call it the breath of life. We desperately search for it in the atmospheres of distant exoplanets. When our telescopes detect its spectral signature, we celebrate, imagining green forests and blue oceans. But in the context of universal chemistry, oxygen is not a mother. It is a monster. It is one of the most corrosive, violent, and reactive agents on the periodic table. Fire is simply oxygen feeding. But in the oven world, where biology has been laboriously built on the architecture of silicon in a reducing atmosphere, oxygen is not life. Oxygen is the gaze of Medusa. Silicon loves oxygen with a suicidal passion. If a silicon atom meets two oxygen atoms, they will bond with such force that they release explosive energy, and the result will be a molecule of CO2, quartz, sand, the most stable, inert, and dead form of matter in this system. For a crystallis, a breath of earth air is not refreshing. It is a spell of instant petrification. It is an alchemical curse that turns blood into glass and flesh into stone. For 3 billion years, the oven world was safe, until the day the sky broke. It didn't start with an invasion. There were no warships. The apocalypse arrived in a shipping container. The important thing is the payload. Liquid oxygen LOX. Hundreds of thousands of tons of supercooled O2 compressed to the density of metal. 10 kilometers up over the Great Silian Valley, the object fractured. The energy release was not thermal. It was a cryogenic explosion. A volume of cold, blue, dense gas bloomed in the sky like a bruise in the atmosphere. The oxygen didn't stay up, it fell. An invisible column, a finger of God made of pure reactivity, descended towards the surface. The sky lit up with blinding white chemical auroras. It rained blue fire. In the valley, a herd of crystallis grazed. Their sensors detected a pressure change, but they didn't run. The bluish, heavy, cold gas rolled down the valley slopes like morning mist in a graveyard. In silence, it touched the first crystallis. Let's zoom in to the microscopic level. The creature inhales. The oxygen molecule O2 enters the internal reaction chamber. There, it meets the creature's vital fluids, polysilicons and long-chain silicones. The moment O2 touches the polysilicon, the reaction is inevitable. Oxygen attacks the bonds. It breaks them violently. It inserts itself. To the creature, this is acute systemic vitrification. Imagine your blood in a matter of seconds turning into epoxy glue, and then into cement, and finally into solid glass. That is what the crystallis feels. It is cooking from the inside, but it doesn't melt, it hardens. The crystallis tries to take a step, but the liquid crystal fibers forming its muscles are no longer liquid. They have cross-linked. They have become a rigid three-dimensional lattice. The leg doesn't move. It locks with a dry crack sound. The neural network begins to fail. Silicon oxide is an electrical insulator. As oxygen penetrates, it creates microscopic glass barriers between nerve cells. Thoughts fragment. And here lies the true horror. Death is not instantaneous. The outer crust hardens first, sealing the creature inside its own body. It becomes a ceramic prison. It is the ultimate locked-in syndrome. Observe the herd now. From a distance, it looks like a pastoral scene frozen in time, but nothing moves. The silence is absolute. If you hit one of these animals with a hammer, it wouldn't bleed. It would ring, ting. And it didn't just affect the megafauna. The glass forests absorbed the oxygen. Their elastic polymers degraded instantly. When the wind blew minutes later, the forest didn't bend. It shattered. The liquid metal rivers reacted. An oxide scum formed on the surface, choking the flow. The dynamic, fluid landscape of the oven world stopped. It coagulated. It became a static geological museum. But the deepest tragedy occurred in the highlands. The slow thinkers, the oxygen cloud reached them. For a lithosapian, the chemical attack was an event that happened in a fraction of a nanosecond of their subjective time. Their massive brains, exposed to the surface, oxidized instantly. They didn't have time to process danger. Simply, their circuits opened. They became what they always appeared to be, simple rocks. Let's imagine now the work of a human xenopathologist arriving at the site 1,000 years later. The oxygen has dissipated. The pathologist approaches one of the crystallis statues, extracts a core, puts it under the polarized microscope. What he sees is a terrifying beauty. We see the creature's original cells. Their silicate membranes are intact, but the interior is agate. Concentric bands of quartz microcrystals have filled the intracellular space. It is instantaneous fossilization. On Earth, a fossil takes millions of years. Here, it happened in 5 minutes. The creature became its own fossil while still hot. In the center of the sample, a small cavity, a bubble in the glass, inside black dust, carbon. These are the organic impurities the creature had accumulated. It is, literally, the soot of the creature's soul. The pathologist notes, Subject 04B, complete vitrification. Cause of death, solid suffocation by exposure to strong oxidant. Note, facial expression suggests extreme muscle spasm. This statue will last longer than the pyramids of Egypt. It will last longer than our own species. What we have just witnessed is an inversion of our reality. For us, terraforming is an act of creation, of bringing life to dead worlds. But in a universe of diverse chemistry, our life is another's poison. Oxygen is a weapon of mass destruction if used on the wrong planet. Are we the gardeners of the cosmos, or are we, unknowingly, the angel of death? Leave your opinion in the comments. Chemistry has no morality, only reactions. If this extinction story impacted you, hit like and share so others know the fragility of existence. Subscribe and ring the bell for the next episode, where we will see how silicon life tries to move without breaking. Until the next reaction.